Okay. I guess this is a thing now. Lucky you. And I guess I need a reason to pay off this thousands of dollars that I spent on this camera rig, so here we are. Well, since there are thousands doing this that are bigger and better gearheads than me that know way more than I ever could, let's try to think of things that I have a lot of experience in that I could provide value with. And I guess the biggest thing is making a short film, because I've done some of that. We're going to talk about the whole process from top to bottom, baby, so it's going to be a long ride. I am in no way better than any of you, so take all of this as you will. I've done it before, I know how to do it, so hopefully you get something out of this. Level's looking good. Thank you, Aperture. Alrighty, since I hate long, stupid intros, let's get right into it. First part, ideation. What's your idea? You need an idea, or an idea of a story. And a story. Don't force yourself to think about this. It kind of comes naturally. One thing I like to do is keep a long-running list of ideas that come to you and develop the ones you feel strongly about. Your best ideas are going to come to you when you least expect it, so have a way to record them when they pop up. And it's okay to have a lot of ideas at once. You don't have to settle on just one. You might find that after working on one idea for a long period of time, another one pops up, and you'd rather do that one instead. It's okay. Just because you choose one idea over the other right now doesn't mean you can't go back and develop that one later if you're more excited about the one that just popped up. And really, with any idea and project, more time is never a bad thing. Unless you're special and time of money is of no concern to you, keep your idea doable. Don't be overly ambitious. One thing you can do is involve as few actors and locations as possible. Keep it to one location if you can. Another good practice for a story is to make it part of a whole, only involve one or two scenes of a larger story. You can have a self-contained story that can hint to a larger world. The less it takes to actually tell your story, the more doable it will actually be to get your film made. Although this is often unrealistic in the world of short films, don't put too much on your plate, because you need to make sure you'll be able to handle most of the load while making your short film. Unless you're acting in your film, other than acting, be prepared to do almost everything. In reality, no one is going to be more passionate or invested in making your short film than you, so don't expect anyone else to be. Alrighty, so you got an idea. Time to get to writing. The shorter the better. Attention spans are at an all-time low, so the shorter amount of time you can tell your story, the better. Try to stay around 20 minutes at the most as your runtime, your final runtime. And if you plan on entering your short film into film festivals, unless told otherwise, you're going to want to stay at around 8 or under. Most festivals that accept short films have a lot of slots to fill, so the shorter your film, the more likely they are to accept it. And also, the longer your script is, the more time and money and people it's going to take to actually get made. Learn screenplay formatting. The easier it is for everyone else to read and follow along, the easier it is for everyone to make it. It doesn't have to be a literal masterpiece, so stay away from overwriting. Don't try to impress yourself or anyone else with how well you can use big words and try to write a novel. This isn't a novel, it's a screenplay. Only write what is happening on the screen and what the audience will be seeing. So that means leave out things like character thoughts or literally anything else that isn't physically happening on the screen. Things like character thoughts are discussions to have between you and your actors. Unless you plan on shooting this whole thing yourself or know cinematography very well, you want to keep out camera movements. This will be a discussion between your cinematographer or your director of photography. Read as many scripts as possible. Read your favorite movies, read ones that are similar to your idea. The more you understand how they flow and read, the better you'll be. Read screenwriting books. I had some off the top of my head and I can't remember, which is interesting because I read them a lot. And how does I look for them? I'll just put them up on the screen. Screw it. You can read. These books are about writing feature films, but the same really applies for short films, so just take it at face value and don't get too lost in the sauce. You want to get to writing, not just reading and researching the whole time. Your script is never done. Write and rewrite until you are physically unable. Never call it final, because it won't be. And also, always be open to the possibility that it's going to change even during filming. Write until you are 100% sure and happy that this is the one, and then rewrite. Set it down for a little while, maybe a few days or a week, and then come back to it and reread it. Oftentimes you'll find things you want to change, take out, add, whatever. I've sometimes changed almost entire scripts, just putting it down and coming back to it later. Have other people read your screenplay, even during the whole process, but only show it to others that you trust and whose opinions you trust. Your mother, or old college friend named Chad, is always going to tell you that it's good. You want to share it with people whose opinion you trust and who understand the screenwriting process, who are in the industry or have a strong passion about it, that can give you honest feedback and constructive criticism. Be open to those suggestions and criticisms. Not every single one of them is going to be useful or worth taking into consideration, but just don't let your ego get in the way and not listen to anyone else before you completely don't listen to them and do what you want anyways. Be a brick. Dialogue. This can be one of the hardest things to write in your screenplay, so don't breeze through it, don't overlook it. Flesh your characters out before you write them into your film. What's their history and background? Who are they? What do they want? Why do they want it? Keep yourself out of your characters' mouths. Don't make them all talk and think like you, or how you think others think and talk. Your characters need to have their own character, their own identity. Make them talk and act like they do, not as you do. If you don't take the time and give each character the justice they deserve, you run the risk of them all sounding the same. It's fine to put yourself in your characters, whether it be personality traits, background, history, wants, whatever. Just don't make them all talk and act the same, because film is about conflict. It's often not what is said, but what isn't said. So don't have your characters overly explain themselves, whether it be their actions, reactions, whatever. You don't really walk around the grocery store commenting on your entire shopping experience while you're doing it. So don't make your characters do it either. Unless you're writing a nutty ass character and that's just what they do. Less is more. Not every line of dialogue has to be a long drawn out soliloquy. Be real. Most times a single look, or lack of one, or an action or a reaction can say a lot more than words ever could. Don't overly use words. This is a movie. It's about motion. It's not a book on tape. Less is more doesn't just apply to dialogue. It applies to action as well. Use actions, framing, lighting, ambiance, sound effects to tell what's going on. A trucking shot of photos sitting on a shelf can tell a story a lot better than someone sitting down in front of the camera and telling it. Research, but don't get lost in it. Even if you know the subject matter of your short film very well, still do your research. And if you're writing about something you don't know very well, research is key. It's all about believability. Don't over-research. A lot of times it can get in the way of just writing. There's nothing more important than simply getting started and writing. So don't let it be a crutch or a reason to not get started. Respect your audience. Don't think you're better than them and that they're going to follow with whatever you say just because you're telling them to. Contrary to a lot of proof, especially in recent years, people aren't stupid, so don't treat them as such. Don't blatantly spell your film out to your audience by showing them exactly what you think they need to see when they need to see it, or hear what they need to hear when they hear it. Audience are smarter than that, and you don't need to do that to get them to understand the story as well as you do.